Good afternoon, everyone. Hope you all are having a great day so far. So today, I am finally getting back after a brief hiatus in going through videos like this. Today, we have a Miyoo Mini, which is a simple handheld gaming console, which has a number of features. Power button is over here on the top, and when you hold it, it illuminates the screen light. Miyoo Mini Plus is what this console is, and it's fairly remarkable. I have it running Onion OS here, and it can emulate games all the way up to the PlayStation 1, yet not further. So that includes your Super Nintendo, your Game Boy games, DOS games, etc. I was just playing Gargoyles a little while ago, so I'm going to go ahead and turn that off. The main focus for today's video is going to be replacing this small speaker over here in the bottom right corner. As we can see, this speaker has the tendency to pop, and also sometimes the sound cuts out. So what I am going to be doing is, of course, removing this back casing, removing the battery, moving the board. So the main board actually covers where the speaker is residing. So we are going to remove all of those pieces, place them to the side, move the speaker, and replace it with this speaker, which is an OEM speaker from a phone. I believe it was the Sony Xperia Z1 Compact. And you can look at the model number over here as well. 6408Q is what it looks like it says. And we will see when we look closer at the other speaker itself how similar this one looks to the other one, which is why we got this replacement. So that being said, without any further ado, let's go ahead and get started. First by removing the battery cover. Obviously we made sure that the unit was off, and we are now going to be removing the battery as well. The battery is held with a small plastic connector here, which we can gently remove and place to the side. So I previously removed some screws from the casing as well as the motherboard as I was taking a look at the interior of this console. However, we have 1, 2, 3, 4 Phillips head screws, and we are going to be removing those screws with a simple Phillips head bit. Let's go ahead and use this one. Okay. Just like that. Going ahead and removing these screws. There we have one. And there we have 2 screws. It looks like there are actually 6. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. It's been a while since I removed these screws. If you're using a screwdriver set like this, you will notice that this screwdriver has a bit of a lip on the side. So if you try to place them into the Miyoo Mini like this, it's not actually going to fit. It's actually stuck here. So thankfully, I do have another older precision screwdriver set that I can use for this. But if you are going to be attempting something similar, then it is advisable to keep that in mind so that this doesn't catch you by surprise. There we go. If you could hear the music being played outside, my apologies. Fairly soon I'm going to be moving out of this apartment and into a house, so that's something to look forward to. Yeah, this is fairly tight. Bear with me. There we go. Wow. Okay. There we go. This screw took a little bit more torque than it did previously. And just for awareness, all of these screws are the same size, and they are all Phillips head screws. When you remove them, you should have 6. For the sake of convenience, I have 4. And we can go ahead and gently wiggle the back casing from side to side. There are plastic clips around the edge and on the top that need to be removed as well. So let's see, what do I have? You could use either a plastic spudger to sort of lever those clips. Of course, gently working along the sides of this game console so that you can gently move it, just like so. And over here we have the main board. Now, typically there would be 2 screws holding it in place in the center. However, I have removed those in anticipation of doing this. There's a ribbon cable over here that connects to the screen. If you gently lift this plastic clip towards you, then you could gently remove the ribbon cable, and then from that point, the board should be free. With some persuasion, you will be able to remove the main board as well. And over here, we can get a closer look at the design of how this particular speaker works. We take, I'm going to try to do this without making anything fall, but if we sort of try, yeah, exactly what I was trying to avoid. We try to take a look at this speaker, which previously it was held in with some kind of adhesive. If you try to just pull it, you may end up breaking the speaker. I would suggest to put a rubbing alcohol in from the sides and then gently try to lever it up, and eventually it will be removed. But if we take a look at the design of this particular speaker, we can see that it has a movable membrane that makes the speaker vibrate. Over here on the side, we see these clips, which are adhered or somehow molded into this side plastic housing. These clips make contact with these pads on the board, thereby providing an electrical connection, and they're held with pressure as well. So we removed this speaker, and now we can go ahead and take our new speaker, which was shipped in this sort of plastic housing, with a little film over the front of it, right here. And taking a look at the 2 speakers, well, they are magnetic. You have one speaker over to the left is the original, and to the right is the new. Okay. So let's go ahead and replace that speaker. We do have a plastic film over here that we need to remove first. And after we have done so, we can go ahead and install the new speaker. It has some adhesive around these sides of the housing as well. So we need to Make sure that we place it exactly where we would like it. Place it in gently, like so. And apply enough downward pressure to adhere it in place. Not too much, but just enough. Proceeding from here, now that we have the speaker installed, we can place the buttons back where they were previously. We have a power button over here, which is going to go over here in the top, making sure that it faces the appropriate direction. Okay. And from there, once we have confirmed that all the buttons are in place, it looks like we are missing the volume button. Or not exactly, it just sort of recessed itself into that cavity. Once all the buttons are back in place, we can place this main board back to where it needs to be, like so. And then gently inserting the ribbon cable that is attached to the screen back into its own place as well. So the ribbon cable does insert into this plastic housing, so it's advisable to give it a little bit of a wiggle, give it a little bit of a push, make sure that this white line is parallel to the white housing of the connector. And then once that is confirmed, clip it back into place and gently move it from side to side, making sure that the connection is secure. I was not really satisfied with how I put it in that way, so I'm going to take a closer look, push it in a little bit further, give it a little wiggle, and there it is. It's just fine. Okay, so now that the ribbon cable is adhered into place, what I'm going to do right now, before inserting the screws, I think it's important to test the buttons just by holding it back into place like this. And then inserting the battery and starting it up just to see that it is functioning as it should. Okay, so there's no longer any popping sound. Let's go ahead and start this game. Well, this is why we do not insert the screws. Seems like there's no sound coming. I'll be right back. All right, we're back. And I suppose if I were a more professional channel, I would have shown a before and after. However, if you are or not willing to take my word for it, the speaker is definitely louder. And it's also much clearer than the previous speaker that had come with this unit. Sort of difficult to acknowledge, but also the speaker itself becomes much quieter as well as much louder, so it has more of a dynamic range to it. Since this is a speaker that has come originally from a Sony phone, we should be able to expect as much. So let's go ahead and turn off the console and reassemble the screws. I think what I'm going to move towards doing here is, as opposed to putting the screws in the four corners, I'm probably just going to put them over here on the sides. Actually, yeah, let's see if that makes any sort of impact. The screws in all 6 posts are exactly the same size, so we're just going to go and put those in place, and then wrap this video up. Let's see. Okay. There we go. So while you're disassembling the console and reassembling it, you do want to be mindful of all the little buttons and other such things that can roll all over the place. Making sure that you have everything where it needs to be. Placing the back cover back on. Yeah, I suspected as much. I think because there needs to be pressure down here, it is probably wise to go ahead and just put those screws over there. Let me see if I actually have those replacements somewhere around here. I think I do, actually. Yeah, there they are. You know, do something once, do something right. It just goes to show when you try to cut corners, sometimes things stop working. So let's try to avoid that. There. Because you end up taking more time if you try to do anything in an incomplete or a fast way. So I will say that even with this speaker, the coil whine is a little bit louder than the speaker itself at its lowest volume. But it's fine the way it is. Yeah, so that being said, it sounds great. Pretty simple little modification that you could do to your Miyoo Mini Plus. And hopefully the current Onion OS beta will come out of beta and release a full version. Get rid of the little annoying bugs that it has, and yeah, become a much more enjoyable experience. So that's it. We replaced a generic speaker, installed an objectively better speaker from a Sony Xperia phone. And that completes our installation. So thank you all very much for watching, and I hope you all have a great day. Take care.